The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Today, Amber and Scott discuss Deep Water, a movie that gives us the greatest villain of all time, an oblivious, self-important asshole who is the reason they're all in trouble to begin with. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn.
And this, boys and girls, is why you do not gripe when TSA takes their time at the airport.
This film made me never want to get on a plane because that means I'm sharing space with everybody else's bad and lazy decisions, which is terrifying.
It's true.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cinema IRL. This episode, we are talking about Deep Water. And what this film is about some horrible man who puts his phone with a sparky cord that doesn't quite connect right in his luggage and checks it. And when she says, "Do you have anything with a battery?" he says, "No." And it goes into the cargo hold of the plane because also, too, a TSA agent who's doing screening isn't completely paying attention to when bags go through the screening. And it gets on the plane and it starts a fire and the whole plane catches fire and people get sucked out and they crash in the water. And it's shark-infested waters.
And this is the exact reason, by the way, like the exact reason why TSA does not allow you to check things with noteworthy size batteries. Because if it's in your carry-on and catches fire, that sucks. Not going to take the whole plane with it. In your in your stowed luggage, not so good.
Yeah, this man and he was a terrible human being all around. And
I'm trying to figure out who was worse, him or Hitler. He was really bad.
He was really bad, so much so that when ultimately he died, which unfortunately we had to endure his horrible humanness throughout the entire film, but the whole theater erupted in applause at the end of the film when he was finally eaten by a shark. And I threw up my arms with a V in victory, and all was right with the world. That horrible man died.
I started the round of applause. I wanted to make sure that he got his.
Terrible, terrible human being. But
and the worst part about it was that the whole, as he got on, he's blaming everyone else.
Oh yeah,
completely unaware that he is the reason they are in that situation.
Yeah, he blames the captain of everyone crashed because of you and everyone died because of you and what are you going to do about it? When he and his negligence is the entire reason that the plane went up in flames and crashed in the ocean. So he is a miserable human, but it was a brutal reminder that when we get on a plane and share space with a couple hundred other people, that there's going to be some selfish people there, some stupid people there, and some people who can impact you with their negligence. And I'm very grateful I don't have any trips on the books because I would not want to get on a plane right now after seeing that.
I mean, here's the thing. I mean, it's so low likely, and TSA does do their job.
You want to think the system works, but I know my entire life I have heard nothing about overworked airport workers, and it's not just air traffic control people, it's everybody in that entire industry.
Yeah, but you don't ask someone, do you have a battery? That's why you have an x-ray screener. When it goes through...
But they do. What do you mean you don't ask them? That wasn't made up. I mean, that happens every time we get on a plane.
Sure, you can ask, but you don't take that as the gospel truth. You if they do, they can say, oh yeah, I do, let me pull it out now. But even if they say no, you still check it through the x-ray screener as though it does have one and you're just looking for where it is.
Which they did, but unfortunately the guy who was in charge of looking through the screener was looking at his phone and that one slipped through. And the reality is people, if you ask them that question, It is mostly ceremonial because no one's going to say, oh, yeah, and then go through the hassle and stress of unpacking their bag and digging it out once it took them all of that effort to pack it up and get to the airport. Most people are going to take the lazy route, the selfish route, and say no, because they don't understand the ramifications of actual safety rules.
Yeah, well, the problem with that is that if you just go ahead and they search your thing and they're like, oh, there is a battery, and they go through and they take it out, you're not getting it back. Like, how are they going to give it to you? They're certainly not going to be, oh, sir, you left this battery in here. We wanted to make sure we got it back to you before you killed everyone.
Yeah, no, they should not just have their battery taken and not returned, but they should be fined $500,000 per passenger on the plane. I believe strongly in brutal consequences for people's selfish actions that negatively impact societies and communities at large.
Lethally impact.
Yeah. So ultimately, we have this plane in the water. So many people have died because of the impact. The pilot and the first, what was he called?
First officer.
First officer did a reasonable job of landing the plane, despite the fact that they lost an engine, people got sucked out, but they hit a coral reef, which just sliced open the plane when it hit the water.
It sliced open the plane, but let me tell you, that coral reef saved so many freaking lives.
Why is that?
It gave the plane a place to rest.
Oh, yeah.
So it wouldn't go too far under and actually could keep pieces above water.
Yeah, it certainly did for a while. Ultimately, most things sank.
Given how long it took, if they're not in the coral reef, there's probably no survivors.
And the rest of this film has the people trying to survive the sharks that are in the water. So we have dead passengers strapped inside the plane, dead bodies floating everywhere, a lot of dead people. But the people who survived are trying to get to these floating pieces that you said are still staying elevated due to the coral reef below, but they're sinking. And now they realize, heck, there are sharks here, and they're plucking bodies, and there's blood spurting everywhere, and they are not safe. What would you do?
Oh, God.
Let's take a step back here. The plane's going down. The engine's on fire.
As if the plane going down wasn't enough.
Yeah. But if you're in that moment where you're on the plane and you realize that the captain has said, brace for impact, we're going down, and then things start falling apart and flying and people start getting ripped out and sucked out of the plane, what do you do in that moment?
Well, while the plane's going down, make sure you found your life vest. Like, get that on ASAP. When you actually impact, you need to put your head down as close to your knees as possible and cover it.
Well, you don't know when you're close to impact.
Well, if the captain says brace for impact, now mind you, if this is not a water landing, you're probably completely screwed no matter what you do with your hands. But either way, yeah, a plane lands like that, you gotta expect stuff is gonna go flying. It's kind of like the same thing as a tornado.
Okay.
In that the tornado doesn't kill you. It's all the things swirling around with the tornado that impales you.
Yeah, a lot of people just died from things flying around the cabin, getting impaled and whatnot. So what I'm hearing from you is what would you do is you would follow the prescribed safety instructions.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, they are there for a reason.
Okay, so no praying, no last minute deals with God. You'll be a better person if you don't die. No negotiating, no videos sent to the cloud to say your goodbye. You're just grabbing your flotation device and putting your head down.
Yeah. What I actually might do if I could, if I could get the seat belt extended enough, I would basically do what I just said, only I get on my knees facing the seat, my arms wrapped around the seatbelt so that, like, I'm essentially still strapped in a way. Not as much, but... And, again, put your head down and cover it. Like, you want your head to be as far out of the open as possible. Protected by whatever. And plus, also remember that in the case of a water landing, your seat can be used as a flotation device.
So here was my thought with them hurtling towards the ocean in the middle of the night is if you're strapped in, what if you're submerged and you can't unstrap yourself? That was the first thought that crossed my mind is you don't want to go flying, but also, too, you could get trapped because of that.
And that's the other reason why I would do the thing on the floor.
But the thing is you are depending on your strength and the stability of your arms gripping a seatbelt or wrapped around a seatbelt when the impact alone is probably going to throw you.
So no one's going to be able to see what I'm doing here, but you would put out your arms and then you would wrap them each around once so that, like, the seatbelt is grasping you.
It seems like that would put your spine at risk, though, if you had your spine up against the seat in front of you, the back of the seat in front of you. It seems like you are putting your spine and your potential mobility at risk if you do that, because if a seat gets thrown back, then maybe your spine gets snapped and you get pinned or paralyzed or something.
For me, it's still the better chance to take. I mean, like, one bad thing to your head and you're just done. And
if that was the right thing to do, though, don't you think the airlines would tell us to be doing that? They want us to die?
No, because here's the thing, and this is the point I'm going to get to. People act irrationally.
Under the best of circumstances. So, yeah, definitely more so in this situation.
Like, they are... most of them are going to forget anything they were told about safety.
Oh, yeah, because they don't even pay attention anymore.
As soon as they start to panic. And that is the thing. And this is why I'm not sending anything to the cloud. I'm not doing anything like that. Your job...
My job?
Everyone's job at that point is to live. There's nothing else that is more important than living. Unless you're sacrificing yourself to let somebody else live. And that someone else is you, because I'm not sacrificing myself for anyone else. So...
Here's the thing, though.
People will panic.
When flying used to be a novelty, people paid attention to the safety instructions. And as flying became more common and everyone of every social class flies more frequently than in the olden days, they don't listen to the safety instructions. I bet if you ask most people, what are you supposed to do? They'd be like, I'm supposed to get something maybe under my seat or something drops. I don't know. People don't know because they don't pay attention anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I've flown enough at this point that I pretty much know what to do. Hope I never have to actually do any of it.
But there's also different things that you do in the case of a water landing versus a non-water landing.
Oh, if you're in a non-water landing, yeah, this is probably the right time to make good with your maker at that point, because it is, assuming like they were actually full flight coming down, which is very, very, very rare. Usually if there's an accident, it's either right at takeoff or right at landing.
And this happened because of the fire and the horrible man.
Yeah, so if you're up that high on a ground landing, I don't even know.
Okay, so let's flash forward.
Now, I mean, if the captains are good enough to do what they did, because they tried to get the plane as perpendicular, or excuse me, parallel, not perpendicular, parallel to the water as they could, so that there wasn't major head-on impact.
Yeah, they actually came at the waves from the side instead of crashing directly into them. So they did everything that they possibly could as experienced pilots. So let's flash forward to you have hit the water. What do you do at that point? We're saying pre-sharks, you don't know they're sharks yet. You have survived. What do you do?
You absolutely have to assess what's going on around you. And more than anything, you have got to block anything emotional, because there's a good chance that you're going to look around and see dead people. And a lot of them. You can't let that affect you.
No, absolutely not.
You just can't. So you have to assess. So a lot of these people were kind of lucky in that the way they landed, their portion of the plane was like, it wasn't necessarily sinking or sinking quickly.
Well, you had people in different situations. You had one that were still in a part of the plane that was intact, kind of the middle that was floating. You had people who were in the back of the plane that actually went underwater, and they were in an air bubble, trapped basically upside down. So the back of the plane was perpendicular to the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah. So.
And then you had people floating and
if you're
swimming.
If you're in the air bubble, get the hell out of it immediately. Yes, you could be safe for a little while, but as you see, as it slips down further and further, the amount you have to go to get out and then back up gets harder and harder and harder. And it's scary because you don't know how far you have to go to get out. I mean, you could swim all the way to where you think it might have broken, but when they showed the picture of that underwater, it looked like the bottom of it was on a piece of coral that might have them trapped. So you could go into the water trying to find the exit, and there might not be an exit. You just don't know, and that's the scary part. And I think that's why we saw one of our characters, Becky, scared to go in, because you don't know. And it's funny, I am not great at holding my breath. And I was thinking, if I were in that situation, I don't think I could hold my breath for as long as it took to get to the surface of the water. Yeah, it depends on how far it is. If you feel like initially, like from go, you can't do that, but you still have some time, I mean, this takes a massive coordinated effort, which is not going to be easy at all. But you want to tip it. Tip what? You want to, if it's actually running perpendicular. Tip a plane? How do 4 people tip a plane? Oh, one of them is a child. No, if it's just 4, you can't. With other people that are in there, you want to get and do anything you can to, like, just try to tip it somewhat. It's a plane. How are you going to tip a plane? I don't know. Well, I that's a lovely idea, but I don't know how practical that actually is. Or you hit the emergency doors. Oh God, no! That you're just going to get hit with a rush of water coming in that's going to completely drown you. That's not a good idea. Neither of your ideas are good. Well, listen, you're not in a good spot here. No, I mean, unfortunately, if you determine you can't get out from the bottom, then you are essentially dooming yourself to death by doing nothing. Well, you can't get out. I wasn't saying. I said it looked like they were trapped at the bottom, but they could get out. So. And if you're not that deep, because obviously you can't be that deep. Well, you don't know how deep you are. That's the thing, is all the unknown variables. You don't know. You don't know how deep you are. You could be, 50 feet underwater or, 5 miles underwater. You don't know. If you're in an air bubble, if you're not 5 miles underwater. I wouldn't know that. If you're 5 miles underwater, you're completely screwed anyway, so you do. Okay, you're taking what I'm saying way too literally. But my point is you can actually still get the door off. If you're 5 miles underwater, you will never get that door off. Well, and you can only open the door if it opens in. You can't push anything out. So if you just let in that rush of water, you can't even fight past it to get out because of the force of it all just coming in. Yeah, it's not a good situation. It's a really bad situation. The best thing to do is, if you can, get out from the bottom and swim your way up to the top. But I mean, here's the thing. Like, depending on certain scenarios, there's no what would you do. It's how quick will you die. Now,
Well, I don't want to play that game.
if you
How quick would
truly
you die?
if
That's
you
not entertaining.
if you truly think that there's just no escape whatsoever, then you stay in the air pod for as long as you can. Because here's the thing. If you're out there long enough, you're going to die. But if you're out there long enough, you'll also get rescued. So
If you're underwater, though, you're asking a lot for someone to come and find you.
I know.
So
I mean, we're in a like 0.0001% survival situation here. Like, you have to do something. You have to make some form of a decision. But if you're trapped there,
yeah.
you just don't want it to sink further down, which is what they allowed it to do.
Okay. Anyway, so let's move forward. You have now realized that there are sharks and a bunch of snacks have dropped into the ocean, and people are starting to get drug under the surface, and we have blood everywhere, and we realize that, wow, the plane crash is actually not our biggest worry at the moment.
I can't say I'm a sharkologist
Okay.
or know enough about them.
No.
I feel like
okay.
the sharks in the movie were a little more aggressive than what real life sharks would be, but also I would probably err on the side of them being very, very aggressive, and I can't outswim them.
No.
So in that case, you want to get as high up as you can on something, anything out of the water.
Which got harder as the things above water started to sink further underwater.
Yeah. Listen, again, shark attack territory here. You're in a really low percentage chance of winning and surviving. But you do the best you can. I'd get one of those paddles and attempt to use that as
To smack the shark on the nose.
like whatever the hell you can. I mean, it's better than not.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't do it just because it was swimming by, but if you're
Yeah.
your leg in its mouth, yeah, sure, you try and
Or if they're like
Get
trying
it
to
to
come
let
up
go of
onto the
you.
boat, or if they have their mouth open, even a little bit.
So as we see them trying to survive now that we have sharks swimming all around, we also see that there are some people floating, some people out that need rescue. Either they're hanging onto luggage, or in some cases they were the people that got themselves out of the section of the plane that was trapped underwater. But we have people who are at risk, who are actually floating in the water and not on the plane that's still above water, or not in the rafts that they eventually manage to find and inflate, and some of them are the rafts. What would you do if you see people who are in the water and at risk?
Are you one of them?
Yes. Wah, wah.
If you're one of them, I'm doing everything in my power to get to you.
Oh, thank you.
If
Thanks
you're
for not letting
anyone
me die.
else, listen, I'm sure you're great people, and I'm not putting myself in further jeopardy to save you.
And I think in times of crisis and uncertainty, there are people that go into one of two camps. Either I'm the hero and I'm going to dive into the water or run into the fire or whatever it is, because that is who I am. And then there are the people who are just buckle down and say, I just need to survive.
I mean, if you can save people with minimal effort and minimal threat on your side, like you see somebody's 10 feet from the raft, yeah, you might try to get the raft over there to get them. But if we're talking like 50 feet or further, and especially with all the sharks, it's not going to do me any good. It's not going to do you any good if you and I both get eaten by the sharks.
And what we saw in the film was our first officer the captain got pinned and he died. Which actually, on a side note, what kind of financial situation is Ben Kingsley in that he had to do this film? I am really concerned about Ben Kingsley.
Why?
Why? Because this is the man who won an Academy Award for playing Gandhi. and he's in this film that actually is of the quality of something that might have been produced in the 80s. Anyway.
Interesting.
So anyway, he dies early on. So
yeah, what would you do on him? I'm not stopping trying to get my foot free. I'm not going to stop, hold a picture, and start singing.
Well, I think they tried to get him free. And
yeah, they can go. If I'm him, I'm still trying.
Yeah.
I'm doing everything I can.
Yeah.
Like, if I need to work a way to break my own foot to get, like, literally, you're going to die if you don't do it. So any outcome is better than that.
Yeah, I would go out fighting as well. I definitely agree with you on that. So back to where I was going, though, is our first officer sees that this obnoxious girl, she's kind of like the little girl version of the obnoxious man who we cheered who died. She is not lovable. She's not adorable. She's a little brat. But there is an instance where they try to get rescued. The sharks pull in the helicopter.
Jaw.
The helicopter takes out a bunch of people, and it displaces this girl, this bratty little girl, from the raft. And they realize she's not in the raft, and she is standing on a part of the plane that is still above water. And the first officer jumps in the water, swims across the water with all of the circling sharks to get her, and then ties her to him and swims back. And I think when you talk about managing risk, which essentially is what you were doing, that's a good example of that, is they couldn't get the raft close enough. If you can get the raft close enough and you can get somebody up, yeah, but if you're saying dive into the ocean, then that's super dangerous.
No. It's like I was saying, it's the how much effort, like what's your likelihood of success? I mean, this is all analytical. Like, you have to determine how much jeopardy am I in doing this? How much jeopardy do I put other people in doing this? It's a constant calculations thing, and it's not even about whether you're a good person or not. Like, again, if it's either you get eaten by a shark or you and I get eaten by a shark, I'm going to choose you getting eaten by the shark.
Oh, okay. So
not you as in Amber. I mean, you as in other random passenger.
I think the biggest takeaway from this film, and this might be the place that we close here, the most important thing that every listener should take away from Deep Waters is that if you go into the bathroom to join the Mile High Club while your kids are out in the cabin and the plane crashes, you got to rethink the Mile High Club thing.
Yeah, that club ain't worth it.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.